Well, all right, guys, welcome to the stream. We'll get started in a second here. I'm just trying to pull up some info on Maker Central, the schedule stuff. So, forgot to pull that up earlier. Let's see here. All right, there's one. There's one right there, and we're just kind of waiting for people to file in a little bit. While we're doing that, I will find the info that I need. I already wrote this down once, and now I forgot again. Let's see here. Let's see if anybody's joining the fun yet. Oh man, the chat just erupted. What's going on, guys? I'm just getting some info from all the different things that are going on at Maker Central. I forgot to pull this up earlier. Now I got to go into my email and find it all. All kinds of different things. So, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing good. I am looking forward to Maker Central coming up soon. Oh man, it's only a week away, guys. It's going to be crazy. Where did my... there it is. Just want to write all this stuff down before I forget. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's get to this view. So welcome to the live stream, guys. Like I said, I hope everybody's doing good today. So today we're gonna. Well, my buddy Brad sent me some Acorn tops, and I thought that'd be kind of fun to play around with today. So we're just gonna make some blanks. I don't want to do a lot of stuff because I'm gonna be leaving next week on Wednesday anyway. So I just thought we'd do some, have some fun with something kind of cool to play with for casting. So we'll make a few turning blanks. Maybe some stoppers, maybe a batch of stoppers, and then maybe a batch of pen blanks. And we'll just let the stream, the chat, you folks, come up with some cool colors, and we'll just dunk them in resin. I thought it'd be kind of fun today. So big thank you to Brad for sending those in. It gave me something cool to do on the stream today. All right, so let me stop real quick and check out the chat here. Wow, everybody's here. You guys. I turned everything on and, it's like blank, and then I was going into my email and then it just went boom. Oh, hey, there's Brad. He's right there. Thanks for sending in the Acorn tops, man. And Pam's here. Pam and I are going to be on a Q&A panel. I'll get to the schedule. So Maker Central is coming up soon. And let's see here. Sorry, my brain's all over the place. Too many things happening. Ooh, some people from Scotland and all over the place. All right, so a couple of things for the schedule. So like I said, Maker Central is coming up next weekend. It is crazy. We're going to be hopping on a plane on Wednesday. It's going to be an absolutely horrible, it's like 11 hours on a plane. That is about the worst thing ever. But hey, it's cool. I'll just, have to take some sort of sleeping pills or something like that and just try and sleep on the flight if I can. It's one of the overnight ones. But I'm so looking forward to it. So Saturday and Sunday at the NEC in Birmingham, England, and it's going to be awesome. So if you don't know, let me go get that link for anybody that is just starting, doesn't know what's going on with this Maker Central thing. Let me explain it. It is a huge maker meetup. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of popular channels on YouTube are all converging on Birmingham, England. It's put on by Nick Zametti. Many of you guys that follow me probably know Nick. He's set it up, and it's going to be just an amazing event. 2 days of making, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of like wood turning stuff, and there's resin casting, but there's also like everything you can think of, woodworking and robotics and 3D printing and like everything, all encompassing thing for 2 days straight. So it's going to be pretty sweet. I'm going to be doing demos at the Easy Wood Tools booth. I have a ton of them. That's why I had to write down a bunch of stuff. So on Saturday, 10 a.m., noon, and 5, I'm going to be turning something. The Peacock blank is probably one of the things that I'll be working on while I'm doing my demos, but I brought a bunch of other blanks that you guys kind of helped make some of them. So 10, 12, and 5 on Saturday, and then 10 and 3 on Sunday. That's all at Easy Wood Tools booth. I'll be turning some stuff up, so make sure to come over, say hi, check out what's going on, and there's tons and tons of stuff going on. There's like, I think Easy Wood Tools has like 7 different demonstrators. Jake Thompson's going to be doing some stuff. Jamie Page is there. Carl Jacobson is going to be there probably like the whole time. Scott Grove and Caitlin the cat, she's going to be doing something there. Lots of people. So Easy Wood Tools is going to be off the hook. The other thing I'm going to be doing is a little talk on wood stabilizing at the House of Resin booth. So that's going to be 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. I'm just going to kind of quickly go over the steps, and then I want to do kind of half and half where I just kind of explain it a little bit, and then a lot of people kind of know what's going on but have questions, so I wanted to leave a lot of time. I have a 30-minute slot there for this, so kind of half talk about what's going on and then half kind of Q&A. And then the last thing is we have a Q&A panel on the second stage. This is on Saturday at 3:30 p.m., stage 2. There's a Q&A panel with me, Pam Harris, Jake Thompson, and Jim Overton, and we're just going to be kind of talking resin. It's going to be pretty awesome. So make sure you head over there if you're interested in that kind of thing. So lots of stuff. Hey, there's Jamie. What's up, man? And Jake's here too. Sweet. All we need is, who else do we need? We need Jim. Where's Jim Overton? He needs to come hang out. Anyway, so it's going to be a pretty awesome weekend. I know Pam's doing all kinds of stuff. Jake's going to be doing stuff. So, like, everybody's doing things. But I want to make sure that everybody knows, and I think this pretty much goes for everyone that at least I know that's going to be there that has a YouTube channel. Don't be shy. Come up, say hi. That's the whole point of why we're going, is we want to go out there, meet people, hang out, and have fun. So definitely come up, say hi. Whether I'm at a demo or if I'm just walking around, just come on up, say hi, and we'll have some fun. So with all that Maker Central stuff out of the way, let's switch camera views real quick, and I'll show you what's happening here. So most of you guys are probably familiar with Acorns, and you can dunk the little caps. They're kind of fun to dunk in resin. Am I on the right camera? Yes. Okay. And my buddy Brad, he's in the chat there, he stabilized some up for me and sent them out. So they're pretty fun. I've done this before. This isn't like a new thing, but we did it on the live stream when I was doing it on Twitch before, and it's fun. And I thought, I got them. Let's have some fun with these guys. So we'll be doing that. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time today because I still have a lot of things to kind of take care of for getting prepped for the trip and everything. But I thought we could make some blanks and just kind of have a little bit of fun. Let the chat pick the colors and we can make some cool looking blanks. So the other thing that I want to kind of cover real quick is I just want to talk a little bit more about the suspending objects thing. So I'm going to switch camera views again. I have a couple of more things that I can show you. So at this point, all of the Alumilite tests, and it really didn't matter too much how quickly I pulled it out of the pressure pot. They all look pretty good. I mean, the witness line is, you really got to be looking for it. I think it's doable. It's good enough for me. Now, in some of these things, especially depending on like whatever's, I think this one was one of the ones, it's really hard to see on this one. And I think part of the reason is the casting. There's not that much resin on the outside. That's where you really see it, is when there's a I don't know, like a vacant spot. But if there's something in front of it, it doesn't show up. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think Alumilite clear is kind of the way to go. Now we cast this, I think this was last time. I thought, well, let's try recasting, one of these. I basically turned one and I thought, let's see what happens if we just stick that in a PVC pipe and recast it. Well, I'm not even going to waste my time turning this because I can already see the line in the blank. It's right there. So that didn't work at all. That didn't fix the problem. I thought maybe that could be like a fix-it. If you do get, a line in your blank, maybe if you recast it, but that doesn't work. So I think I'm not going to keep continuing that kind of testing or anything. So I think for me, I'm just going to go with Alumilite. It works good enough. But just be warned, there's going to be a little bit of a line that you can see. Now, the one thing that I have yet to do, I can't believe I did this, but I went to Michael's, I bought polyester resin. I know, this stuff is terrible, I can't stand it, but I do want to try that sometime. I don't have time to do that today. I want to do it outside. I don't use that stuff in my shop because it stinks terribly. So someday, probably, after we get back, I want to try that out and just see if it makes any difference if you use polyester resin. I've heard some people say, oh, it should kind of help out. And some people have said, I use it and it doesn't work. Like you get a line with that too. So who knows, maybe there's no way around it if you actually cut into the blank. Now, the one thing again, I will say, if you just cast it and didn't turn it, like if it was, whatever the mold was, let's say you're replicating something or you just want a box. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube just, they're just making like a square thing, and there's no, like, you're not working the material. It's just when you demold it, it's done and it's in place. There's no line when you do it that way. If you don't touch the stuff, if you don't sand it or cut it, you can't see any witness lines if you do multiple pours, and it really doesn't matter how long you wait or any of that stuff. It works pretty good that way, but it's something about when you cut into it, it doesn't, I don't know, then you can start seeing lines in there. So I think that we'll kind of wrap up the whole suspending objects thing. I'm not super thrilled with the outcome of that. I really thought that there should be a way to do, multiple pours and do it this way without seeing any line, but I haven't been able to find one, and I just don't have enough time to, to keep working on it. And again, this is for like heavy objects where you really have to hold it in place. It's not something that you can pour it, let it kind of really thicken up a lot and then pour more. In that case, you shouldn't have a line. But anyway, so let's get to casting. What do you guys say? I know we've been kind of waffling and messing around for a little bit here, but let's see here. Yeah, if you just pour it, I don't know. It depends on what you do with the two pours. But if you need to hold something right in the middle, then it's a problem for me anyway. I haven't figured it out. So let's switch to the casting view and let's make some blanks. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use this 3 blank mold. So this thing is about 5 by 3, about 1.5 inches deep in the mold. Let's go with a 3 pen blank mold for the first one. And we're gonna be using Alumilite Clear Slow Set. So here's that. That's what I like using mostly. Hopefully we have enough. I might have to refill my resin jugs. But like I said, we're only gonna do a couple castings today. So we're gonna do a 3 pen blank mold, and then we will do a bottle stopper mold. We'll just do these kind of square ones, I think. Well, actually, let's go for round ones. That'll save some resin. And I just kind of like that idea. We'll go 3 of these 1.5 inch round guys, and we'll just hot glue these things down. They're a lot easier I don't have to even cut them at that point, really. Just trim them. So we're gonna be making 3 pen blanks. We're gonna add some Acorn tops. And again, these have been stabilized already. And I would probably recommend that. One thing I will say is stabilized Acorn tops are pretty abrasive when you turn them. They get pretty hard. So that's one thing to think about, when you're actually making something like this. They can be kind of abrasive, hard when turning, but they turn fine. One thing that I will note, I've done this a little bit before, and one of the problems that you can run into with Acorn tops is, if you just push these down in, you could get air bubbles in the little cap part. So what I do to fix that is I put them in sideways and get resin to kind of fill that up, and then you can kind of orient them however you want. But you want to make sure that you don't trap air when you're shoving these down. And if you just dumped them all in the tray, and then poured resin, that's a good way to also get air pockets in there. So I actually add them one at a time. A lot of times I like pushing stuff down in the mold. It really eliminates the problem of trapping air. And in some cases it may work all right if you let it kind of flow up around, but a lot of times it'll just trap it and you'll have an air pocket in the end, and you don't want air pockets. Pressure pots don't fix air pockets, they fix air bubbles. So let's see what's going on. All right, so I know people have been throwing colors out. Did I see what? Hold on, what's going on here? Brad, no, I haven't seen Meg. I don't think she's actually been to the YouTube ones yet. I don't know. She might be kind of busy, I guess. I don't know. Maybe she hasn't seen the notices. I'm not sure. All right, so let's do 3 colors. How about that? What do you think about that? 3 colors? Yeah, I like YouTube better. The thing is, Twitch was just so like on its own. It was like this, in a vacuum over here, and I kind of basically had to drag people over to that platform, and many people that were, YouTube viewers, like literally were like angry. They're like, I'm not going there, and so I lost out on a lot of viewers, and just frankly, YouTube, I have a way bigger following on YouTube than I ever did on Twitch, and I brought everybody there, and so I just kind of got tired of messing with it. I thought it'd be better. I wanted to get these things to more people. If I'm going to do it live, I want more people to benefit from it. And so it's pretty seamless, and we've had a lot more people, showing up for them. So yeah, I would say that YouTube's been working really good. The platform works good. The other thing is when I started this, YouTube didn't really have a lot of support for live anyway. And so I don't know. Twitch was a live streaming platform. So that's kind of why I went with that, but anyway. All right, so we got lime green. Let's go with that. We got a lot of people talking about green. So let's try a lime green. I'm just gonna go through and and see what you guys threw out there. Yeah, you could put these in the cup if you wanted. I typically don't though. Let's see here. I kind of like that orange. That's a good one. And I got to go with gold from Jamie. Jamie tossed out a color, so we got to go with that. Gold. So we're going to go with gold. I want to go for some random ones. I always find that, green and white, that's going to look good. But gold, what did I say? Gold, lime green, and orange, was that? Yeah, an orange. Let's see what that does. That'll be kind of a weird one. I wouldn't pick that normally. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing it on the other thing, but I have a notebook and I'm going to write down all the stuff. So I'll just kind of explain what actually I can do it under this camera. So you can watch as I write. There's nothing spectacular, but I do think that this is a highly important part of casting. It changed things for me when I started doing it. So I'm going to put the date here. Oh, that's not 4, it's 5/2. And we're doing Acorn tops. So I just kind of talk about, or write down what I'm, doing. I'm going to write down what mold. I call that my 3 blank mold. We're going to be using slow set clear Alumilite. So that mold, we're going to put in 280 grams. It holds about 280 grams. That might actually make a kind of a bigger one. That would give me about a 1 inch deep, if it was just resin. But that's fine. If it's a little thick, that's not a big deal. So 280 grams total, 140 times 2. Alumilite clear slow set is 1-to-1 by weight. And then we're going to be doing... let's do some weird numbers here. So let's do like 50% one color. Let's do lime green 50% of the total. Let's do 30 and then 20. So 50% is lime green. Let's see here. How much is that though? Let me get my calculator out. I guess 140 is how much that's going to be. So that's 140 grams. It's going to be lime green. And then 30% is going to be, let's see, I don't mess around with mental math. I don't see the point. When I got a calculator. 0.3 times 280. That's 84 grams. And that's going to be orange. And then 20% is 56 grams. That's going to be gold. That'll be our little highlight color. So to do a lime green, I'm going to be using Caster's Choice Lime Green. For orange, I'm going to use Blaze Orange from Caster's Choice. We'll just do pearl powders. And then for gold, we'll use Caster's Choice Gold. And that'll be fabulous. All right, so there you have it. I really, recommend keeping notes when you're doing casting. It just makes things a lot easier. If you need to reproduce something, you've got notes. If you're testing things out, after you've cast it, turned it, and you see results, go back and actually add some notes to that notebook. Keep things there. You'll find that you get a lot better as you go. I found that I did. I had been casting for probably like 2 years before I even thought of this idea. And once I started writing notes down, things just were so much easier. I got a lot better pretty fast when I started doing that. And you have a record of everything. It's just kind of nice seeing that. And frankly, I mean, this is a good method to do something. It's good to do for no matter what you're, doing. If you were, starting a new hobby or, I don't know, whatever, workout thing, it's good to kind of keep a little journal. So I've zeroed my cup. We got our part A. We need 140 grams of that. Yeah, I'm going to have to refill these. We got some fresh resin. Everything is looking pretty good. Nothing like fresh resin. Have I tried pigments? No, I haven't tried them. I don't really use pigments in clear that much though, so and I wouldn't use them for white. Hey, what's up, Peter? How's it going? Yeah, and actually one thing I want to mention, so Pam was talking about digital. I have this, this is a digital, is that what they call it? Digital pen, or what do they call these things? Smart pen, I guess, is what they're called. This brand is Neo Smart Pen. There's a couple different brands out there. This one just seemed to work best for how I do things. The one thing I will say is it's amazing. So everything that I write down, it's saving like a document, and then you can actually convert it and search your notebooks and all that stuff. So it's nice. I have copies of all this. I was always worried about my notebooks because I do this for all the blanks that I make. And I started doing this for the blanks that I sell. So I have like color recipes and all this stuff. And the problem is, like, if there was a fire or a flood, I mean, if these things were gone, I would be hosed. And I was really worried about that. So I figured I write down every single pour that I do. If I can just convert it to digital out of the pen, that would make perfect sense. So it really works good for me. The problem is, and there's different types of these types of situations, these like smart pen things. With this, you have to buy specific notebooks. So either way, you'd have to buy notebooks. I don't think these are that much more expensive. And then you have the cost of the pen. But other than that, everything's good to go. So I just kind of wanted to explain that. It is going to cost money. It's not free. But depending, I mean, I think it's totally worth the money in a lot of cases, just to have that, everything's backed up to the cloud and available anywhere you want. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I have it. So it's, the way it works, Peter, is I sync it to my phone. There's like an app on the phone. And then it also, let's see, I'm trying to think. I actually have it backed up like 2 places. It's going to like Google Docs or something like that, and Evernote as well. So it can like copy and back up, copies of it to like, any of those kind of like I think it goes to Dropbox and Evernote is how I have it. So I got 2 copies, and it's on my phone, which is also backed up. So I'm pretty much good to go, Let's switch to this view. I don't have my iPad today, guys, so I'll have to kind of stop, and I might miss some of the chat, but if you got something pressing, you can do a super chat, and those pop up on the top. I won't miss those. And it's a good way to support the show if you want, Always appreciate the super chats. So 134, we're going for 140 on the part B. Make sure that we got a camera view where you can kind of see what's going on. It's kind of fun just making fun blanks on the stream. I like doing this kind of stuff. Okay, we got our 140 and 140, so we're gonna mix this cup up. Whatever resin you're using, I recommend having a timer handy, just so you know, like this resin has a 12-minute working time. I like to just kind of know where I'm at, so I'll start that clock after I've got it mixed up. It's just kind of nice to know what's going on. Now, a lot of people also use temperature if you're doing color swirl and want to keep things separated, the colors, from bleeding. And in some cases, certain things, like sometimes if you're adding like glitters and you don't want them to like sink or float, you're going to wait till the end of the working time. A lot of people use the temperature method, which I've actually started kind of doing that, and it seems to work pretty good so far. Actually, is Pam still here? I don't know if Pam's here, but what temperature do you use? Do you use Alumilite Clear or Amazing Clear Cast? I was just curious what temperature you pour swirl blanks at. 97 degrees seems to work pretty good for me with Alumilite Clear. All right, so we got it mixed up. I just turned my timer on. I'm gonna get a couple extra, actually I'm gonna get, those are my special cups. So these ones are less special to me. So we're gonna use those. The reason I say that, they just have a little bit of, the bottom is a little bit more funky when you mix, so I found some that have a lot smoother bottom. So for stuff like this where I'm just pouring it in but don't have to stir, I grab these cups whenever possible. So what we're doing here is we're pouring in 84 grams? 84 grams. That's going to be our orange. And you don't necessarily have to do this all scientific like this. You can just kind of dump some off, but I will say that it can be kind of helpful to be more exact if you're trying to get reproducible results. Amazing. Okay, Amazing Clear Cast is 120. That might be about similar for liquid diamonds too. I'm not sure. Went a little over on that, but it's close. I don't want to mess with it. This one is 56. I think Alumilite Clear is, I think most of the people that I've talked to are, for the temperature, I think they say like 95 to 100, somewhere in that range is usually what I've heard from people. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of arrange these, big, medium, small. And when I say temperature, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the, Hobby Lobby, or actually not Hobby Lobby, Harbor Freight is what I meant to say, or something like that. Get one of these kind of cheap infrared thermometers, and you can see what the resin temperature is. So like right now, that's 78.5 degrees. And you're waiting for it to hit, like I said, that 97. That's like kind of a prime temperature. It's thickened up, and when you pour multiple colors together, it won't bleed as much. So anyway, let me go get my powders. So we're going to use Blaze Orange, Lime Green, and Gold from Caster's Choice. And actually, speaking of Maker Central, Brian Blum's going to be doing lots and lots of casting demonstrations at the House of Resin booth. He's going to be there, like doing them like once every hour, I think. I don't know when he's going to eat or go to the bathroom, but he's going to be kind of busy doing some casting there. So it'll be pretty cool to see him and hang out. So make sure you guys stop by the House of Resin booth. Say hi to everyone. I think Pam's doing some demos there too, aren't you? Pam's doing, and you're doing demos all over the place, aren't you, Pam? All right, so for our powders, I'm actually going to go back and mark this. So we're going to put an 1/8 teaspoon of gold. It's a little bit of a heavy 1/8 teaspoon in this cup right there. And we're going to put, let's go with a 1/4 teaspoon of Blaze Orange. And you can mix and match dyes and stuff. If you had if you didn't like this specific color of the orange, you can kind of use dyes to adjust it. You can also mix multiple different colors of powders together. So there's lots of things you can do with these powders and dyes. for different kinds of effects and things. And then for lime green, we are going to load this guy up. We're going to go with a 1/2 teaspoon. Actually, I'm going to go with 3/4. Oh, I'm almost out of the lime green. So that's about 3/4 teaspoon. So let me go back and mark this stuff down in my notebook. So the lime green, we did 3/4 teaspoon. We did 1/4 of the orange, and we did 1/8 of the gold. All right. Pop some sticks in there. Yeah, Jamie with the super chat. What's up? And from Jake, what? Ah, you guys are awesome. University of Michigan. Hey, what's up, Nick? How's it going, man? What are they up to? Are they playing baseball? What's going on right now with Michigan? My buddy went to dental school at Michigan, so I'm always kind of rooting for them. But thank you for the super chat. We always kind of pull for the Wolverines. Just because I kind of, it's kind of cool when you know somebody that went to certain schools and all that. And we got our gold. So my clocks, so I'm used to using a timer. You can also go by time. And the thing about time, though, is when temperatures fluctuate in your shop, unless you have, the thing climate controlled and it's always the same temperature, always, all the conditions are all the same, you can rely on temperature alone. But now it's starting to kind of be in the middle. It's warming up a little bit in the shop from winter. And so it's a little bit, I don't exactly know the time. You got to kind of adjust things. So for time, I would probably be waiting about 9 or 10 minutes before I poured. One thing that's also nice that I recommend people do is don't rely solely on temperature or time. Just because things can happen and something could change. I don't know. What if your thermometer gauge thing ran out of batteries in the middle, or things happen, right? So I would also recommend, keep an eye on what does it look like when it's 97 degrees. What does this look like when it's coming off of the stick? That'll tell you what viscosity it should be. And if something were to happen, at least you're not going to be completely hosed. Like, oops, the thermometer is broken. I don't know what's going on. If you kind of have an idea of what that viscosity is supposed to look like, you can kind of estimate it pretty close. So it's kind of like the don't always rely on a calculator thing that they always said. Know how to do, math. All right, so we got our mold. The other thing that I forgot to mention, I put my mold in the oven, so it's heating up. I put the oven at about 150. Seems to work pretty good. So we got our mold. The clock's at 7. Let's see what the temperatures are at. 89 degrees or so. So we got a little ways to go here. One thing I do also find, we were just talking about fluctuations with these temperatures and times. Depending on how old the resin is, like this batch that I got seems to be extremely fresh, like really, really fresh. Like it was just made like last week kind of thing. And it seems like it has a longer open time. It's also the side B is very thin. A lot of you guys that work with Alumilite know that side B can thicken up, and it's as thin as part A. So, things can change with your resins and the temperatures. So don't always rely on your times or whatever. Use your eyes whenever possible. Yeah, humidity is also another thing. I don't have to worry about that too much. So Nevada is pretty dry here. Not as dry as, I'm up in northern Nevada, so it's not as dry as Vegas. That's even more dry, but we still just don't really have that much temperature problem. This is going to be pretty cool looking, I think. Let's get this thing kind of closer here. Stop wiggling. Still kind of wiggling. Sorry about that. Orange, green, and gold. These are going to be kind of funky. I like that. All right, so we're at 8:42. And the 12 minutes for the working time for this, I don't know. Generally it has a little bit longer. It's not going to be hard in 12 minutes, you know. You usually have a little bit longer time, especially like when it's usually in the winter. We do heat our shop, so the winter is actually the most stable temperature for me in the shop, and that's, you know, it'll stay at like 68, 69, 60, between 67 and 69. So that's always nice. But I mean, you probably have at least, I don't know, you might even have almost 20, like 18 minutes of open time at that temperature sometimes. So we're at 95 in the big cup. Clock's at 9:30. So we're looking at that. Let's look at the thickness. This is starting to thicken up. It's still a little bit thin, but I would rather actually get these guys in here now. So we're going to pour. Let's get this camera going. The one thing is you also need to kind of adjust things a little bit when you're going to be embedding stuff, because it's going to take time to get them in there, and you also don't want it to be super thick. You want it to also kind of flow around a little bit. So just kind of one of those little hint tip things. Sometimes you got to go a little earlier. And in most cases, if it's just pearl powders, really, even if they do bleed a little bit, whatever. They still look great, you know. Okay, we got our green in. Got our orange in, and we got our gold. So I'm not going to have a ton of time to be messing with these Acorn tops, but we will put them in correctly. So like I said, I want to put these guys in sideways and let the resin kind of fill it, right? Oh, see, that one wasn't very good. I want to tip it over and make sure that we see that little air bubble come out of there. It's because the air was getting trapped. So make sure you kind of scoop it and let it kind of flow into the Acorn top. And this goes for any kind of thing that has like a cavity, you know. You want to let that resin fill up the cavity, rather than push it down in. And you can move them around once you've gotten those things filled, you know. But at the same time, you know, if you got a bunch of colors in there, you probably don't want to be stirring this thing around. You'll still get some of that kind of color bleed that we were mentioning before. It's kind of a give and take with resin a lot of times. I think we're still doing good on the time. Now my clock's at 12 minutes, so this is what I was saying, is, you know, the bottle says 12 minutes of working time, but the truth is you have longer. I don't think I want to push the limits here. I think I'm good to go. I think I'm happy with that. So we're going to get it in the pressure pot before we do run out of time. You don't want to go too long because then it hardens up and you're screwed. You got to get Alumilite in the pressure pot. So let's get this guy in here. And we're going to pressurize this to 70. Now these are CA Technologies pressure pots, and the max PSI is 80. So we're safe to go to 70. I always stay 10 PSI below whatever the max is, just for safety's sake. Yeah. So, but make sure that you know what, you know, the max PSI is on your pressure pot if you're using one. And make sure to stay below that max PSI. All right, and then Alumilite Clear. We've been doing tests, and it turns out that you don't necessarily need to leave Alumilite Clear Slow Set in the pressure pot as long as it says 2 to 4 hours. Honestly, you could probably pull it in like an hour or two for most of this stuff, especially that big. So I always like to wait and just, you know, two or 3 hours is usually what I leave it in for. But if you are in a hurry, you can get away with pulling them in probably about an hour, I'd say, as long as there's enough volume of resin. So let's see here. Guy in Sparks, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of Harleys around here. We're about an hour from Sparks. Try to stay away from Reno and Sparks. I don't have to go there. Oh, Dan, how's it going? From Reno, that's cool. Yeah, we're down a little bit south. Anna B, thanks for the super chat. Oh, I just looked up. Oh, you're heading out. I missed you. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet up at Makers Central. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a party. All right, guys, so I need to refill my Alumilite clear jug. So I guess I'm just going to set the cameras up, sort of, and you can kind of see what I do. I buy the 80, they call it 80-pound kit, and it's basically 10 gallons of resin. I'm going to set my camera up over here so you can just kind of see what I'm doing. I don't want to pull like every single pour out of those big jugs. So what I do is I just fill up my gallon jugs when I run out. So there's the 80-pound kits. I got Alumilite clear slow set here, and then this is Alumilite white. That's a totally different resin, and a lot of people probably wonder why I don't really talk about that one. And to be honest, it's a difficult resin to work with, and I don't think that most people would even want to mess with it. So I just don't cover it. It's a 2-minute working time. That's the one that kills people. And it's opaque resin, so you can't use pearls or any of that stuff. There's no transparency that you can get out of it. So it's such a one-trick pony that I don't really recommend people even do it. You know, you can use clear, you can make that opaque. But I've been using it for so long. It's actually the resin that I started with. I'm used to it. I know how to use it, and all of my not all of them, but most of my color swirl blanks use that, and my recipes only work with that resin. So I'm kind of locked into it, but if I wasn't locked into it, I wouldn't probably use it for much. The nice thing about Alumilite white is it's a little bit softer. That's also kind of the bad thing about it, is it's a little bit softer, which means it doesn't polish up as nicely as Alumilite clear or your epoxies. They're a little bit harder and they get a little glossier. Still polishes up pretty good, but the thing about it though is it's soft and it turns like literally it's like like a hot knife in butter, literally. So let's see here. So what I'm doing, sorry, you guys aren't really seeing the action, I guess. Totally. First thing that I do is I just kind of stick the tops. I use the pumps, so I got to take those off first. I'm going to drain out whatever I can out of the bottom so it doesn't go all over. But if you're making enough stuff, if you could actually utilize, these 80-pound, like the 10-gallon kit, if you're making a lot of blanks, it's much cheaper per ounce buying it that way. So I definitely recommend, depending on how much you do, people that are making a lot of blanks, you should probably look into this. But at the same time, if you're not going to get through it within 3 or 4 months, then I really wouldn't recommend going with the big kit like this. It has a short shelf life, so pretty much all resins do. So this is my B, and this is the B jug, so just turn that on and it starts filling up. And I'm going to do the same, pull the pump out of the A side, let it drain, and we'll fill up the A side too. Thought I might have enough to get through the stream today, so I didn't fill these guys earlier. I didn't really have time, but so you guys get to watch the resin fill up in the jugs. Actually, I finally asked Alumilite to send me some empty jugs because these things are all torn up and nasty. But what I do is when I've emptied the 10-gallon kit, these 2 jugs, When that runs out and I get a new one, what I do is I clean out the inside with acetone, so that, you know, there's no like old resin. You know, I don't just keep pouring more in the thing. I clean it out with acetone fully, and then refill it. But I got drips and stuff all over the outsides of these jugs, and I said, hey, could you just send me some empty bottles? Can't even read the label anymore. All right, so it doesn't take that long. I will say that the Alumilite Clear side B, that stuff thickens up kind of quick. That's what I was saying. This stuff is extremely fresh. That stuff was flowing very well. So the B side can take a while if it's thickened up. But you can heat it up in a, it'd be kind of hard to get this jug in a warm water bath, but you can warm it up and it'll thin out. Okay, now that we got our resin ready, I think I'm gonna nix the pipes. I said that I was gonna go for 1.5 inch pipes for this, and I think we're gonna just go with the square one. So let's switch camera views. And whoa, Randy, how's it going? I see some super chats. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Did you have a question? I'll keep an eye on things on that. Jeremy's here. Oh man. Yeah, we're ready to get started now that Jeremy's here. Sorry, I'm looking at questions, and I really think I need a camera crew. So now I'm going to walk off camera again, but I want to get my other camera back in here just in case I need to show somebody something. I like this one. It has a viewfinder, so I can kind of get things lined up correctly. Okay, we're back in order. So we're gonna go for some bottle stoppers, and I'm just gonna pour it. A lot of times when I'm embedding things, I like just using a tray mold rather than the pipes and stuff. They're just so easy. I can pour it all at once, and then, you know, I don't know. You just have a lot easier access on the top rather than the pipes and things. So this is a let me see here. Let me measure this. I haven't used this one specifically for a while now. I'm not 100% sure what the diameters, or not diameter, the measurements are. Oh yeah, okay. So it's 1 3/4 square. 1 3/4, and then 2 inch deep, and then it's about 6 inches long, something like that. So we're gonna pop this guy in the oven. Get that thing nice and toasted. Okay, so we need colors. Let's go with 4 colors on this one. So toss out some ideas on colors. And who are you saying thanks for the follow on Instagram? I think that I realized that I wasn't following you, and I thought I was, if you're talking to me. So I thought I was already, actually. Yeah. Royal blue. There we go, Huey. We're going to go with some royal blue. Purple. Crimson. Oh, to me. And turquoise. There we go. We got our 4. You guys rocked that. That's going to be a pretty cool... That's going to be a rich looking blank. So I guess I'll switch to this little view over here so you can see what I'm writing down. So go back to our other page. Sorry if it's kind of crooked, but the tripod's in the way and it's not going to work. Okay, so this one is I just call that the stopper mold. We're doing SS Alumilite Clear Slow Set. I just call it Slow Set Clear in my notes. I think that mold holds about 350 grams. I might be wrong, but I doubt it. I think that's right. So 175 grams times 2. And then, let's see here, we're doing 4 colors. So I'm just going to split the 4 evenly this time. It'll just be even easier. So 350 divided by 4 is about 87. And we had royal blue. Royal blue. We had purple. I'm going to go with a cool color that Alumilite has. It's a little different than other ones, but I'll show you what I do for all these things. But we're doing purple. We're doing, what was it? Crimson. Crimson. And turquoise. Turquoise. Okay. So there we have it. We got our notes ready to rock here. So what I'm going to do here for those, there's lots of different ways that you can get, like kind of specific colors. Like I was saying, you can use pearls and you can also use dyes. You can mix both of those together. You can do whatever you want. We are going to be using, let's see here. I'm trying to find my caster's choice. So for crimson, the way to get crimson, the way to, in general, when you're, coloring stuff, I would recommend, if you're going for very specific colors, get a color wheel. That way you can kind of see which colors oops, wrong one, wrong camera. Get a color wheel. I have one. And you just spin the wheel around and say, you're like, oh, I want, red, orange. What do you can say, oh, I add yellow with, what color, orange, and you get a kind of a red orange with that. So basically you just spin the wheel around and it just shows you what colors you need to add to get a certain color. So that helps. And then the other two things that you need to know is, white is going to lighten things and black is going to darken it. So for crimson, we're just going to add a little bit of black dye. You could even add black, pearl powder to it. I'm just going to add a drop of black dye into the resin and then use a red pearl. So we're going to go, let's see here, 87 degrees. We're just going to go, not degrees. We're going to go with a 1/4 teaspoon of powder in each one of these. So for the royal blue, I'm going to use cobalt blue. It's kind of a royal blue from Caster's Choice. And again, if you wanted it darker or lighter, you can kind of play around with different stuff. You could add white pearl if you wanted to lighten it. You could add black pearl to darken it. And again, you could also add, dyes to that mix. I think cobalt blue is a pretty royal blue out of the gate. So we're just going to go with that. 1/4 teaspoon cobalt blue from Caster's Choice. For purple, that was the one that I was going to tell you guys about. Alumilite has a color that's a really cool one. It's called light purple. Nope, that's not the right one. Light purple. And it's a really neat, it kind of has like a, I don't know, like an iridescent effect to it. So I use Caster's Choice for a lot of stuff, for most things, as long as they have the color I want. But this one's kind of unique, so I get that. I get it from Alumilite. Again, it's called light purple. And I don't like pulling out of these giant 4-ounce things, so I just have a little light purple canister that I use when I'm actually casting. So we got light purple. We're going with a 1/4 teaspoon of that. And I like to add just a drop of purple dye to that as well. It just adds a little bit of different effect. So let me write down my notes here. And it's going to darken it when I'm going to use violet dye. For crimson, we're going to go with blood red from Caster's Choice, and we're going to add 1 drop of black dye. And then for turquoise, I love their teal. Caster's Choice teal. It is a fabulous color. I guess I didn't really open up the jar. Here's kind of what the powder looks like, that light purple. I mean, I don't know if you can really get much from that, but yeah, the teal is a really awesome color. This is a really good color, actually. If you're trying to make something that's like, it's pretty close to Tiffany blue. You might need a slight adjustment, but it works for Tiffany, the jewelry store stuff. Not a bad color for that. All right, so we got our cobalt blue, we got light purple, we got teal, and we got blood. We don't have blood red yet. Where'd that go? Blood red. Okay. Sweet. All right, Peter, have a good one, man. My calculator is broke. It's true. We're on the casting view now. Okay, so 350 grams, 175 times 2. I'm going to need a bigger cup. Starts to get a little dicey with those 16-ounce cups above like 165. So I'm going to get a big cup, 20-ouncer. All right. And I'm going to kind of... go like that, sort of. So 175 times 2, again, we're mixing up 350 grams. $166, $173, 4, 175. There we go. On the dot. Pretty good. All right, so let's see here. You got a bunch of kids hanging out? Oh, man. Hey, Richard, I'm glad you're learning stuff. I like to just try and go through all the steps and, I don't know, figure you pick something up along the way, hopefully. All right, where are we at here? 150. 164. Almost there. Okay, that ought to do it. Perfect. On the dot again. What? All right, and then we're going to mix it up. Scraping the sides of the cup, the bottom of the cup. You don't want any little part B's or part A's not getting mixed together. That'll not be good. And one thing I want to mention, Pam uses Amazing Clearcast, which is an Alumilite product. Alumilite's the company name. And this is clear, Alumilite Clear Slow Set that I'm using. She uses Amazing Clearcast. And the one I'm using, Alumilite Clear, you need to, you measure it by weight, 1-to-1. Amazing Clearcast is one, I don't know what, I actually don't know what the thing is, but it's by volume. So make sure whatever resin you're using, even if you think you know, open up the directions and just make sure, double check, what it says. Is it by volume? Is it by weight? Is it 1-to-1, 2-to-1? A lot of people get kind of, they see a lot of people using Alumilite, quote unquote, and don't realize there's a bunch of different Alumilite products out there. So, just make sure that you're using the correct one, and that you know how the one is that you bought is supposed to work. Otherwise, you're going to have curing issues and other problems. So what was it, 87 grams? We're just splitting all 4 colors in 4. Oh, I went a little over. That's okay. Close enough. Close enough. That was pretty close. Okay, we got our 4 cups. Now, we're going to do, let's see here. Can you guys kind of see what's going on over here? There we go. First one, we're going to go with teal. And all I'm doing is adding a 1/4 teaspoon of teal. And that's it. We're done. No other things are going to be added to that. Same with cobalt blue. For our royal blue, we're just going to dump in a 1/4 teaspoon or so. And we're done. Now for the other two, we're going to do a little bit of messing around with it. Let's go with the blood red first. So we're going to do that in this cup. We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of blood red. And then I'm going to add 1 drop of black dye. This is a Lumelite brand dye. Make sure, you know, whatever dyes you're using, they're going to work with the resin that you have. Lumelite dyes work with any resin. Some dyes don't work with Lumelite or epoxies. You know, like some of them don't work universally. So, and that drop of black is all that's doing is going to darken up our red. We're shooting for a crimson, and I'm not messing around with, you know, trying to get anything specific, exact with this. If you're trying to match colors, though, you're going to have to do a lot of testing to get, you know, a specific color. But in general, you can just add a little bit of dark something, black, you know, and that'll darken up your color. Or you could add a little bit of white to the mix. And you can kind of sneak up on it. Add a little bit, and if that's not enough, add a little more. You should be able to get there, you know. All right, so we're going to close these guys off so we don't get resin or anything else funky going on in there. Put our black away. Wipe the spoon off. Let's see, what was the other one? Light purple. For light purple, let's get these cups out of the way. Just going to add a 1/4 teaspoon. And you know, it just looks a little light. It kind of has like almost an interference effect sort of to it. It's just an interesting color. It's just not like standard light purple. It's got a little something going on with it. It makes it kind of cool. So we got our light purple in there, and then this is just a purple dye, a Lumelite. And I'm going to add just a little bit, just a small drop of that. And I think this is the most fun thing about resin casting for me, is just mixing up different colors and effects and tossing some stuff in there and seeing what you get, because in general, you're usually not going to be super disappointed. Especially when you're just working with these pearls. I haven't found a combination of pearl powders that looked bad. Even when I was like, ooh, there's been a few that I'm like, I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. And it still looks good. One good example of that, the gator jaw blanks that we made, I was like, the colors that were put together were so weird that I was like, I don't know. This one may be the one that doesn't really turn out that good. And it turned out awesome. Mind-boggling. I'm going to put this cup under the other camera so you can kind of see what this color looks like. It's like almost like an iridescent kind of, I don't know. I really like this color combo. This is one of the ones that I buy that 4 ounces of Alumilite. I don't use a lot of Alumilite's powders, but they have a couple that like nobody else has. They're just very unique and cool. So pretty neat, I think. I don't know. Hope you guys like that. All right, so back to the casting view. Our clock's at about 5 minutes, five and a half minutes now have elapsed. I'm going to show you each one of these colors under that good camera. It seems like I can get it to focus, and it seems like a better picture under that other one. So once I get all these mixed up, I'll show you guys how they look. So we've already shown you purple. Let me switch cameras. I'm trying to make sure I don't not show you guys the camera. We're on the right one. Okay, so here's our royal blue. We could maybe even add, you know, in general, this turns out pretty royal blue, but tell you what, let's add just a drop, a small drop. This will darken it up. Alumilite dye, the blue color, not ocean blue, but their regular blue, is pretty dark. So I'm just going to add a tiny drop, and this will royal it up. This will be totally royal for sure. We'll get a nice dark royal blue out of this. I'm trying to get just a very small drop, so I'm carefully squeezing this so that we don't get too much. You'll kind of see that darken up a little bit, hopefully. It's kind of hard. This viewfinder on this new camera, for me, I can't tell what's really going on. It doesn't look very good. That just darkened it up just a hair, you know. I could have used black to do that also, but I know that that blue color from the blue dye from Alumilite is kind of a dark one. So here's the blood red with a little bit of black in there. It's a nice kind of crimson color, I think. And we already showed you purple, so here's the teal. I really love this color. That one is just fabulous. I love that. So there's our turquoise. Hopefully that's turquoise-ish enough. Okay, so our clock's at 7 minutes, 40 seconds at this point. Let's see here. Casting view. Get this camera kind of ready to rock and roll for when we pour. There. Thing's ready. Let's look at the temperature. So I'm going to grab my little temperature gauge, and I'm just going to pop it in here, see what the numbers are at. 88 degrees on this one, 87, 88. So we got a little ways to wait. Like I said, though, you know, if you're really going for separate, you know, keeping those colors separated, you'll want to wait, you know, till it's thickened up a little bit. And for this resin, I find 97 degrees works pretty well. If you're more interested, if the color bleed isn't really a big deal, then go for it a little earlier and just see what ends up happening. You know, a lot of times the colors may bleed, but they end up then you went from a 4-color blank to like a 10-color blank. You know, it looks good. So anyway. Ah, you like that red? Yeah, I gotta be honest. Who's the troll? Where's the troll? You have 2 audio feeds? That's weird. Let's see here. There, I think I took care of the problem. I need to get moderators. I need to moderate some of you guys. We haven't had any issues so far, though. There's always a troll lurking somewhere. All right, so we're at 10 minutes. I think that we're good to go. I'm going to look at the temperature of a couple of these cups. 90, 92. Yeah, it's a little bit early, but I'm all right with that. Like I said, I kind of like a little bit of color bleed every once in a while. It actually kind of is cool. So try and get some light on the situation here if I can. All right, so we got our blue. We're going to pour a little bit of blue. We are going to pour a little bit of red. Ooh, this is some rich colors looking. We are going to pour a little bit of this turquoise. And a little bit of purple. And then we're going to do it all over again. I think I'm going to put some of these acorns in now. You know, you can kind of mess around with how you add things to your castings, you know. Sometimes if you add the embedment, you know, at the end, that'll give you one result. I want to try and load this one up as much as I can with these acorn tops. You definitely don't want to put them in upside down. That's definitely not going to work too well. All right, I'm just going to use my little purple stick here. Okay, so we got some in there. Let's go again. Okay, looking good so far. Kind of went all in the middle with this turquoise, so just give it a little swirl there. Making a general mess, but that's okay. And then let's add some more of these acorn tops. Now, it probably would have been a smart idea to go a little transparent. We didn't do that with these. We'll have to do that next time. Didn't think about it at the time. These should make some pretty wicked looking blanks, I think. I always like these acorn top ones. But for like, especially for bottle stoppers, you know, having transparent blanks, then you can kind of see the whole acorn top, where this is just going to give you kind of slices on the side of it, which I really like that. It's a cool effect. But, you know, it's going to be a little bit different than if you would have gone with transparent resin and you could actually see the acorn tops for sure. All right, so that should have also mixed up our resin a little bit. So let's lift that up. I got resin all over my gloves. Try not to get it all over the handles and stuff. I don't care if I get it on the molds, I just don't really want it on my pressure pot wing nuts and handle. All right, and then again, 70 PSI, and we are ready to rock. Good to go. A lot of people ask, what's the minimum pressure, you know, that they need for pressure for resin casting and making blanks? And the minimum, bare minimum, is 40 PSI, but you don't want to buy a pressure pot that goes up, you know, like the max is 40 PSI. You really need to be above that. So the minimum, I would say, is 50 PSI is what you want to be running it at. Problem is, if your pressure pot leaks a little bit and you've only gone to 40, then it's going to be below the minimum threshold and air bubbles can come back. Not a good thing. So hopefully that helps somebody out. Like I said, I get that question quite a bit, and I have a pressure pot, you know, choosing a pressure pot video that kind of goes through and walks you through, you know, how to kind of pick one, what are the differences, and what do you need to think about. So check that out on my channel. But anyway, I hope everybody had fun making some acorn top blanks. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna just hide all these people. Let's see here. I'm going to try and see. Jen, you've got privileges now. And Doug, you've got privileges now. Let's see here. And where is Brad still here? All right. Can't find Brad, but he's going to be and actually, so's Jake. Jake, you are a moderator. Hey, Michael Barr was here. I didn't even see you, man. And let's see here. I can't find Brad. Anyway, I hope you guys had a fun time tonight. Like I said, acorn tops are a pretty cool, like random thing to toss into resin. And like I said, if you add kind of an opaque color to them and then toss them in there, when you turn it, you're going to get kind of weird shapes. They just add a little bit of kind of a weird kind of swooping shape to it. So it's a pretty cool blank in the end. And then again, if you go transparent, then you can actually see these things, within embedded in your blank, and it's pretty cool. So anyway, hope you guys had fun. I don't have time to do any more tonight, unfortunately. I got to kind of get things prepared because I only got a few more days in the United States, and then we are headed to England, so it's going to be pretty awesome. So again, if you guys don't know, for some reason, Maker Central is coming up next weekend, May 11th and 12th, and you can go over to their website, makercentral.co.uk, to get tickets and find out all kinds of information. I'm actually going to be putting up another video on my channel this Sunday, just kind of going through that schedule. I'll be doing demos at the Easywood Tools booth, the House of Resin booth, and then we're also doing a resin casting Q&A on the main stage. So lots and lots of stuff happening. Keep your eyes peeled on Facebook and Instagram for posts, things that are happening. We're going to try and really post a lot of stuff on social media. And I'm going to do a live stream sometime. I'm not sure exactly when. It'll kind of depend on my schedule and when I get a chance. And it'll be dependent on my like wireless cellular signal as well a little bit. But we should have a signal that's Wi-Fi and all that. So be looking for that. It should be on YouTube. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on here. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, what's up, Christina? You just missed it. We just did kind of a quick one. So I'll have this replay up tomorrow. We were just kind of playing around with some acorn tops, tossed them in some resin, and we'll see how they turn out. So thanks, Kathy. Let's see here. Yeah, should be a pretty fun trip. Yeah, I'll definitely post as much stuff as we can. I know there's a lot of people that can't make the trip out there, and so we'll try and post. I got my wife on social media detail as well, posting and stuff. She's going to be capturing some video, and I am obviously too. So we'll be kind of doing some stuff, and then I plan to make a video of the whole trip when we get back and have like a whole edited one. So anyway, thanks again for coming out, guys. I hope, like I said, hope you had some fun. We will not have a stream. Let's see. So I'm actually going to be out of town for quite a while. Oh, actually, one other thing that I need to mention. So I'm going to be out of town, which means that people that are like ordering blanks on my site, they're not going to ship for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town from the 8th to the 22nd. Okay, so, and I have a big notice on my website, but for orders through my website, get them in like before, let's see, get them in this weekend if possible, and I'll have them out, early next week. But from the 8th till the 22nd, orders won't go out because I'm the one that does shipping. So we're going to be in Europe. We're going to stay a little longer after Maker Central and kind of tour around, check out Switzerland. So just want to make sure everyone knows that the orders are going to be slightly delayed, but I'll get them out right away when I get back in town. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. I hope you guys have a great evening and have a wonderful weekend. And we'll be kicking off Maker Central soon. So I will see you guys on the road and on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, one other thing I want to mention, make sure to follow me on Instagram. If there are any changes to my schedule where I'm doing demos and all that at Maker Central, I'm going to be posting those to my Instagram stories. I figured that'd be the easiest way to get it out. So anyway, talk to you later, guys. Have a great weekend, and I will see you when we'll fire these back up when I get back from Maker Central. So have a good one, guys.